Hello guys, this is Ep1 and I also would like to make a couple of series of small videos that touch on very specific topics. This is my first one that's going to be around sort of go-to-market strategy and product management. Again, if you haven't seen my videos on go-to-market strategy basics 101, I suggest you look at them. I'll provide the link below. And also I have a course on how to conduct customer interviews where I talk quite a bit about how to create customer interviews, how to set those interviews up, and more importantly, how to conduct those interviews so that you're not leading customers into saying what you want to hear, but actually gets insightful information and how to use that information to help you build better products. So I'm going to leave a link to that course below, so please feel free to check it out. So today I would like to talk about the topic of why there are so many enterprise products that have bad user interface or user experience. And why it is often the case that the higher the price tag, the worse the product experience is. When companies sell large contracts worth hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars, the sales process includes many stakeholders and decision makers. There are three main categories of people in the buying cycle. The end user. The end users are those who are using your product on a daily basis. They will be operating your software. Influencers are those who are not as decision makers or end users, but those who have influence over buying decisions. For example, if an organization buys expensive and important software, the IT department needs to vet the product on the security front in order to understand whether and how the company customer data will be protected. The third category of people are decision makers. Decision makers are those who have the final word on buying the software or solution that you offer. Let's take a CRM as an example. Sales reps and the sales managers are the end users because they use CRM products the most. IT will influence the buying decision and ensure that CRM is secure and fits the current infrastructure. And the chief revenue officer or a VP of sales will be a final decision maker, even though they won't use the CRM as often as sales reps. In this situation, a software vendor has a high incentive to target decision makers focusing on ROI, technical specs, and capabilities. Since decision makers are not daily users and sales process rarely involves a focus on UI or UX, product and engineering teams are more focused on tech capabilities over UX and UI. This is what I call UX gap in enterprise product. It's when the product design is lacking because those who make buying decisions are not the ones who use the product daily. And this dynamic pushes software companies to focus on tech capabilities that drive ROI for decision makers rather than the actual users of the product who experience design daily. That's why we have seen so many companies in the last decade approach the enterprise software market with a bottom-up approach, focusing on easy-to-use and well-designed products for the end users and forcing organization-wide adoption from the bottom. Examples include Slack, Dropbox, InVision is not really on the market these days because Figma, but there are many other examples in this category where they come in from user perspective from the bottom with a great UI, maybe less functionality, and then makes the organization adopt those products organization-wide. So while it is important to provide tech capabilities and address decision makers in your sales process, don't forget that you're building products for the end users who will be using it daily. Let's look at the real-world example. Our PM growth team at Barracuda, when I was at Barracuda, was originally organized around free email threat scanner, which was a primary demand generation vehicle for our email protection suite. Our end users are IT and security managers, so our sign-up flow and the product value were built around the needs and requirements of the end user. When IT managers sign up and completed the scan, we would send an email with detailed overview of all the threats we found. As we collected more feedback from my team managers, we realized there is a need for a feature that would allow users to share the threat report, which would empower the end user to share the results of the scan with the decision makers. So we built the functionality that allows threat report sharing via web link or PDF. So basically what happens is that we realized that even though this sort of free trial is geared to the end user, we need to find a few features and functionality that we can engage decision makers. And in this particular case, we thought about reporting and the easy way for the end user to share the security reports with the decision maker and make it in a way that allows them not just to see the value of the product, but also understand the ROI of it and the UX part of it as well. The bottom line, we focused on UX experience for the end users, but also find a way to build the product features to help decision makers in the buying process. Your primary goal as a product manager and go-to-market team is to focus on your end user. Make the experience great and let them become champions of your product inside of the organization. Focusing on the end user will center your team around product experience for those who will be using your product daily. Then you can figure out what kind of feature, what kind of engagement do you want to have with the decision makers in terms of communicating ROI. But if otherwise you're going to be focusing solely on decision making, I think it's the biggest problem that creates a gap, UX gap, what I call in enterprise products, where because those who make decisions are not the daily users, the software companies do not have incentive to make their product easy to use from the product experience perspective for those who use it daily. So thank you very much. Again, please check out my course on how to conduct customer interviews and get shit done, and I see you next time.